What's up everybody, RETROCENGO here. In today's video we're gonna talk about accelerated Amigas because something we have to talk about it's just getting out of hand. So I started this back in 2018-19. I got serious about using retro computers like Commodore 64, Amiga and retro PCs. And I just got addicted to this and I just kept on buying some different stuff. I want to buy as much as I could because I want to, document everything on my YouTube channel, trading, buying, selling, getting some new stuff we could document. And instead of having one Amiga 500, I had like 5 Amiga 500s, 2 Amiga 4000s. Why? And just kept up building up until actually about 6, 7, 8 months ago, my lady, she said, my name is Cengiz. She said, Cengiz, and I mean, what's going on? I mean, can't you see how crazy this is? How when I talk about having an 030 accelerator card and I need to have the other one because this one is Cobra 030 and I want the Viper 030 and MT whatever, M-Tech and GeForce Power M30 030, and she was like, you're not using everything, because I do talk about retro with my lady. She has her hobbies, I have got mine. And it was really eye-opening, like, why? Just why? Because I was obsessed with this. Back in 2019, 20, I made 6 videos about running Doom on them. I played Doom as a kid back in the 90s. I have a €50 retro PC. It's a Pentium 1. 64 RAM, 200 megahertz MMX, and I think I paid €50 for it. And it plays Doom, it plays Quake, it plays everything. And my real retro time is actually from the DOS era. I'm too young to, on the Amiga, I knew what the Cygnus editor was when I wanted to edit startup sequence. And that's my Amiga knowledge. So when I make these Amiga videos where I show an accelerator card, people are like, man, you're an expert. I am not an expert. I don't want to be an expert. With 40-year-old technology, who wants to let the experts be experts? Okay, no one cares about stuff like that. But today, I'm just, like many others, I'm used to this system. Okay, we grew up with this. We've had our lovely Motorola 68000 at 7 megahertz. And everything, like 99% of software ran perfectly on that 7 megahertz Amiga 500. Beautiful computer. And then we got the Amiga 1200. It came with an 020 processor. Newer Kickstart ROM, we began having compatibility issues. We had to use reload kicks and, go down to Kickstart 1.3 and, slow down, no cache, because 020 was too fast. Then we could upgrade them in the 90s to the 030. This was a powerhouse. I never had it back then, but here in Denmark, a lot of people had this. Well, when I got on buying Amiga 1200, when I don't do it anymore. Like 80% of the times, when I got it home, opened it up, oh, there is a Blizzard 030 card. A lot of them here in Denmark. The thing is, if you use an Amiga today with your floppy drive, and I have a lot of floppy disks, they're in perfect condition. Back then when we bought the floppies, they said like 5 years and they will be dead. But my floppy disks, they're in perfect condition. They just work. And if you clean your floppy drives and, recap them, they just work. So such a joy using floppy disks. Today in 2023, I really, really like it. But to be able to use that and use like 99% of the software. You just need a 7 megahertz computer. If you don't want to fiddle around with floppy disks, you can actually buy a Gojek drive. Put this in here instead of the floppy drive, and these two cables, bam, so easy. And you have this little USB plug, and you can, copy 5,000 Amiga disk files over there. And you need a little memory upgrade. So this Amiga 500 is just dirt cheap for sale everywhere. I don't care where you live. Go and check out eBay. It's like $100, and you have got this. So 1 megabyte RAM and a Gojek drive. Let's see, 200. Who gives? Okay, and you can run 99% of the Amiga software. That wasn't enough, because I was upset. I wanted to play Doom. You can't play Doom on an Amiga. I know it didn't come out to the Amiga. It just killed the Amiga. That's why, like, all my friends, everybody I knew, jumped over to the PC, and I was the last man standing with my Amiga 600. And Doom 2, when it came out in 94, Doom 1 was in 93. That was it. And then Command and Conquer 95, and Duke Nukem 3D. The Amiga just died. It is what it is. We can't change that. Today we have got a super nice software called WHD Load that takes a 11 disc floppy disk game, loads it up to the RAM, and just instantly loads and plays great. To be able to play games like that, you can actually still do it with a 7 megahertz CPU. I would recommend a 68010, 7 megahertz, 8 megabytes. You can run it with 4 megabytes of RAM, but if you have 8 megabytes of RAM, it runs really nice. If you want the menu to run a bit snappier with your WHD Load gaming, put in this cheap €100 or something like that. 020 accelerator card. This one has got 020 at 28 megahertz, and it has got 64 megabytes of RAM, and it's so snappy. It's just overkill. It runs amazing. If you want to play demos, you can go up to the 030. These are used. They were the Blizzard cards. 030 cost like €450 years back. Now you can get those cheap cards called Terrible Fire cards. They cost like 80 or €100. So everything just it became so cheap, so everybody can buy this. Now we can get the Terrible Fire 1260, and I was obsessed just like everybody else. I wanted an 060 processor, and 060 was not enough, because then I needed to have the FPU, because I want to run demos and blah blah blah. And then I could run Doom and Doom 2 on the Amiga and emulate Shapeshifter, and with Shapeshifter have Macintosh graphics, just lose everything Amiga, just have Macintosh stuff from the early 2000s. Wow, Winamp, wow. And with Macintosh OX 8.1 something, I could run Warcraft 2 on my Amiga. Very important stuff. Wow. And I was one of those guys that just, yes, more power, more RAM. I think I have an Amiga 4000 with, I think it has got like 512 megabytes of RAM. I mean, we're talking about 1 megabyte RAM, guys. 1 megabyte. And I recommended 8 megabyte to run everything WHD Load. So 512 for what? Why? Why was I that obsessed? Just like some of you guys. Just why? A few months ago, I got the newest updated Pistorm, put it in. Like, it has got like, I think it's gigabyte RAM, and the megahertz is just like Sysinfo says, is this an emulator? Is that, I mean, no Amiga feeling. I know, don't upset, don't, on my review, I say that it's called the poor man's accelerator card, and I will not upset the poor. If you upset the poor man, they will write a lot of comments. I love my Pistorm Lite, bare bone, whatever. So that Pistorm Lite, you can see the window over there. I threw it out. All that Pi RGB, HDMI, Pi laggy stuff that I had to adjust and out of the window. If you look down there, there's so many my Pi 400 out of the window. I installed that Pi image, horrible audio, just laggy or too fast game. I know. Now everything's perfect, but yesterday it wasn't. Again, don't upset the poor people. So stuff like that, it's just, I don't want to settle with stuff like that. So it's just out of the window. So the reason I'm making this video is actually I posted on Facebook where I said, just, if you want to play Amiga games, if Amiga 500 with a Kojak drive, 1 megabyte RAM is enough, because everybody was like, you need to have a Pistorm. I mean, sure, buy it costs €100. If you like it, like it. If not, throw it out of the window. No one cares. It costs like 2 pizzas. Who cares? It's cheap. My review, it ran like, yeah. There are some guys that say, I don't play games on the Amiga. I'm very important. I do. What do you do? I mean, it has got netcard. You can go online, and who cares? I mean, I think most of us were just tinkering around with this, and Dear Opus, Cygnus Editor, Deluxe Paint 4, Paint something. We don't need all that speed. Okay, I mean, my obsession. I see today when I think back, it's so dumb. That Raspberry Pi, to be honest, I like it because 2 things. It's accessible, everybody can have it. Because a lot of Amiga projects, I'm getting sent a lot of projects. RETROCENGO, do you want to review this? And I'm like, yeah, I want to review it. And I am tinkering around with it, and it just never comes out. And I don't want to review stuff that people can't get. And so many projects just dies. This is not it. People were right. We don't have the warp. Yes, you do. A lot of people has unboxed this one. A lot of people have shared on Commodore Amiga page. So, of course, it's not a dead project. Updates are out there, and Caesar's working on it, Andrea working on it. So, yeah. So it's not a dead card. But the Pistorm, available and dirt cheap. The thing is, it feels like the developers, they're talking about, it's so fast. Emulate, yeah, it's an emulator, and you can actually just use it standalone. You can just use a Raspberry Pi. You don't even need an Amiga. But I don't know, maybe people like to have the keyboard or whatever, so they get a bit of Amiga feeling. But you can just buy a Raspberry Pi and install an image and have the Amiga, I don't want to say experience, but Amiga whatever. Darn it, man. It had graphical errors. It had glitches. Look at my review. Then it says emulation failed at line this, and it's emulating the CPU. Yes, it's still using the Paula audio. That's so cool. Way to go. But it was just, completely lame experience. And people were like, in an hour, an update will come out, and all the errors you have seen here, RETROCENGO, they will be sure in 5 years, or something new will come up in 5 years. I don't know. Because I tried that PC wannabe Amiga or Macintosh wannabe Amiga. It gives you no Amiga feeling. Right now, I'm tinkering around with my old Amiga 500, a dead Amiga 500. I have my Amiga 2000 next to me with original cards. So fun. It reminds me of all the nostalgic love, all the cool stuff that I wanted back then. Back then, I didn't want a Raspberry Pi 400 that's inspired by an Amiga 500 that has stinky audio quality and just compatibility all over the place. That wasn't the thing that I was dreaming about. And a lot of speed. Yeah, watch some cool demos. I'm pretty done with that. Now my everyday Amiga is Amiga 500 plus 2 megabyte chip RAM, 8 megabyte fast RAM, running at 14 megahertz with my Spitfire 500. I run everything, 99%. And I truly don't care having 32-bit colors in Workbench. I mean, I don't even know what should I do with Workbench. I use floppy disks. I love floppy disks. It's so cool. And if I want some AGA stuff, I'm actually using an Amiga 1200 with this card. Oh, 20 card, 64 RAM. I mean, and it's just dirt cheap. So take it easy. Just sit down for 2 seconds and say to yourself, if you want to buy an, now I'm saying terrible fire, Stephen Leary, I love your work. Okay, Stephen Leary that guy is one of the guys that is truly, Stephen Leary is truly a guy that elevates the whole Amiga community. That guy is awesome. Okay, awesome, absolutely. So he has made these terrible fire cards. If you buy a cheap €100 1230 card, you can run 99%. If you want to buy the 060 and take a picture and post it, I have an 060. People will write, is it an LC model? Is it the full one with FPU for like 500, 600 euros? I was one of those guys that was totally upset, but today, who gives, man? We don't need that much power. So, make stuff like the Terrible Fire. I would love to have the Terrible Fire. I have got the 030, but that built-in IDE, it needs something on the kickstart. Or just develop it further, make it more compatible. I think like 40 or 50, maximum 50 megahertz, it's all you want, all you can use. I mean, again, 7 megahertz, man. Everything on 7 megahertz, 1 megabytes of RAM. You don't really need, like, what does the Raspberry Pi 4 have? 4 gigabytes of RAM? I mean, use $50 on a Pentium 1 system and you can run all that garbage. Or a Macintosh. I don't even know what a Macintosh from 20 years ago costs. Use the Amiga as an Amiga. It's so cool. So it just, after my lady said all that stuff, I'm really laid back now. In some years, I would love to review a Raspberry Pi again when enough people rise to me. Now with this update, it's good. Everything runs perfect. Because some of those guys, they're like, yeah, I don't play games on the Amiga. You are so important. Like, sure, you're making a 3D picture. Wow, everybody's impressed. I play games. I don't care. I'm an old guy. I play games. I enjoy it. The games that I played when I was a little kid, it's so fun. And when people ask me, before I was like, yeah, get the 060, get the Revision 6. Yeah, it's just more power, more power, more power. Get the Amiga 4000. Now I'm like, I mean, this type of Amigas takes just a lot of space. and gives you nothing more than what an Amiga 12. The Amiga 1200 costs what? 500? Amiga 4000 costs like 2,500 euros. I mean, is it that much better? No. Check out my Amiga 4000 vs 1200 video and you will get all the reasons why. Just take it easy. When newcomers come into, my friend got inspired last week by me. One of my friends got inspired. We bought him an Amiga 2000 and he was so happy for 2 days. This morning he contacted me and he said, do you have an Amiga 4000? And I said, yeah. And he was like, I want to buy it. He's me back in 2018. And I'm like, why do you want to buy it? Because, I don't know, the 2000 is so cool, so the Amiga 4000 must be so much cooler. And I said, do you know the price? They cost like, and I sent him eBay link. There is one now for, I think it was for 3,700 or something like that on eBay. English pounds, or was it? Over 3,000 euros, dollars, whatever. And he was like, what? I just paid 200 euros for an Amiga 2000. Why does Amiga 4000 cost that much? Because of this idiotic stuff that all of us have. And first, at the beginning, it was like, are you crazy? He was just shocked. And while we were talking, he was just saying to himself, yeah, it's also a cool computer. I think, do we have one? I think I want to buy one Amiga 4000 from you. It's like, so what more do you want to do? He said AGA stuff. Not even a game, a demo, or something AGA pro. No, AGA stuff. He's new. I'm like, you can do it on the Amiga 1200. Yeah, but not the same as on the Amiga 4000. And I said, yes, you can. No. The 4000 is just, the 4000, it's the Amiga 4000. You can do the same on the 1200. And that costs like $500. I have a gazillion of them. You can come and pick up one of them. And next weekend, he will come and get an Amiga 1200. I will put in a 16 gigabyte card to him. I have got these cheap 8 megabyte RAM blocks I will put in, present to him, put in all the games and demos, and he will be shocked. And a week later, when he calls me and says, I want an Amiga 4000 because, and I will say to him, because of what? Now he's on my Facebook group, and I'm sure he's talking with people. I need an 060. Why? I mean, PC stuff. Come on, man. I've seen that caffeine OS, whatever. Just zero Amiga feeling. My Pi 400 with Pi Amiga, just zero Amiga feeling. It feels like a PC, high resolution. I mean, what are you doing? I was just, what went wrong in my life? I all of a sudden should have 5 Amiga 4000 with 060. Why? If you have one, I understand it. But I was like, if you have 20, I understand. I don't want to upset anyone. I don't want to upset nothing with the poor people is extra. Nothing. I don't care. You can have 25 Raspberry Pis and emulate all the Macintoshes you want. I'm just saying, take it easy. There's like no Amiga software. I mean, 99% was made for the 7 megahertz. There's nothing out there other than running PC games on an Amiga, and PC games on an Amiga. Resolution is off. I mean, they are getting converted to the Amiga, and Doom doesn't run that good. And they said, try Doom. It runs on the Amiga, but it runs so stinky bad. I mean, and on the video, I tried to play Duke Nukem 3D. It runs, but it's just on my $50 PC that I use the same monitor on. And the PC is a small form factor PC. It runs $50. Okay. And they're available everywhere. Go into YouTube and write, not YouTube, eBay, and write just Pentium 1. They cost nothing. Pentium 2, they cost nothing. You can play all the games. On this one, I can play Diablo. And in the beginning, I was like, I can play Diablo on my Amiga. It's so cool. And I was like, Why? Just why? I want to play Boulder Dash. I want to play Super Frog, International Karate. I want to use the Amiga as an Amiga. So things like Pistorm, stop the megahertz hunt, make it compatible, better quality, run smoother, drop that Coffin OS thing, just make, real Amiga Workbench, 3.1, and make sure the games run perfect. Some people doesn't care. Some people are so old that they can't even hear the difference between a Pi 400 and the Polar chip. They can't hear. They're like, well, I don't hear the difference. I don't care. I don't feel Turrican runs slower and the shots have graphical errors. I don't care. People like that are too old, or they just settle for a lesser experience. Cool for them. They're happy. But guys like me, we're not happy. We want the real deal. We don't settle for a lesser experience. So now I have sold some of my Amigas. I actually have donated some of my Amigas. And some of my friends had the Amiga 500. They looked at my Amiga 1200 videos. I actually gave some. I have very little, but very beautiful Amiga collection with, they're just bright white, no scratches, never open motherboards, looks like new. So very little size Amiga collection, but beautiful. And I'm much, much happier than having so many Amiga 500 pluses that I needed to replace the battery and neutralize and use my time and energy on, 30-year-old computers. I'm much happier now. And if you have 26 Amiga 4000s and you buy 4 more and get 30 Amiga, I have images. I have also visited people here in Denmark that has got like Amiga 2000s from the floor to the top. This is 3 meters and they have like Amiga stacked, big box Amigas. Stacked, no wife, kids won't talk to them. They're fat, like obese, fat, nice guys. But I'm saying like, sell some of these, hit the gym, get in shape. And I said to them, get a life, man. You're just sitting there with your obesity and you won't get happier by owning 30 Amiga 4000s instead of 26. Just saying, this hobby, it went out of hand for me. And if this video can help a new guy or a guy that was in my shoes back in 2018, I wish I made a lot of stuff much more different. I just bought stuff that I wanted to film and have on this YouTube channel. Some of the stuff, I got a scanner, I will never use it. I want to film it. 68K modem for an Amiga, whatever. 9600 baud modem. I need to buy it. And he didn't want to sell that little thing, so I have to buy his whole collection. Fill up my house with all the Amiga stuff to film this little thing and then fight to sell all that. And my lady could see some of the times I lost a lot of money on this, and it was just take it easy, okay? I will say start up with an Amiga 500, 1 megabyte of RAM and a GoCheck drive, play your childhood games. Next step, go up to the Amiga 1200. It has got 020, so put in 8 RAM. If the money is no object, then you can buy, 030. If you have, I don't know for what reason, you can buy an 060 with FPU and you can watch beautiful demos. Go up there, but buying an old Amiga 4000 is just, and even worse, Amiga 3000, it doesn't give you the AGA. It's so laughable. The Amiga 3000's price should be the same as the Amiga 2. A bit over the Amiga 2000. I mean, just ECS system, it gives you nothing. It gives you an 030. Yay, it's just so easy to get it installed. And they also cost 2,000-3,000 euros. So it's so stupid. And if you're a family father, you don't have that much time, you can buy a Raspberry Pi, install Pi Amiga, have a shitty experience, but it's still, you can see Amiga stuff. Also, there's this little an A500 Mini that I reviewed. It's out, went out the day after. Horrible experience, but God, one of my very close friends that are totally into Commodore 64 and nothing with Amiga, I gave him one of them as a present, the Amiga 500 Mini. He didn't hack it. He plays, what was it, Alien Breed, or was it or was it Speedball? One of the games, he really likes it, and he plays it when he has the time. I bought him a little screen, and he doesn't have that much money, but he's really happy with that. He is one of the guys that he plays 1 or 2 games. He can settle for a lesser experience. So what I want to say, he was here some time ago. We actually played Bubble Bobble here on the Amiga, and he kept on saying it's better on the Commodore 64. Genesis, this is better on the Commodore 64. Who gives? So you can buy one of them. So, but just take it easy. Don't do just like me and many other people that just want. Yeah, if you want to watch demos 030, I can kind of understand it. But the way that the Pistorm is moving now, it has like 16,000 dry stones, or was it 16 million? No one cares. I mean, it just... I remember when I got this one, I think it was it in 19 or something? I think it was 2019. And it was cool. It was cool because all of a sudden 100 megahertz and so many, Wi-Fi, internet, it has a USB connector to transfer files. It was so cool, and I understand it. It's still Amiga. It's still the 68,000 family. But that Pi, it just... I don't know. I don't have no software that can run it, so... Maybe that's why I'm not that interested in it. I don't want to play PC stuff. Why is my background yellow now? Cool stuff. Guys, thank you for listening. I hope you learned something. I hope I helped someone out here, because this is the stuff that I'm getting on my Amiga comments, and it's like, now I want to make a video and tell everybody about my experience, how I am today. So if money is not an issue, just buy all the 060 revision 6 cards and do whatever you want to do. But some people are like, oh, I'm so sorry. Some people are like, they have family and yeah, stuff like that. Not obese. So after this video, turn off your computer, go out for a walk or a run, sell half of your collection. You will feel much better. Okay, much better. Lose some weight, drop this obesity. If you have more than 5 Amigas, yeah. Have a great day, guys. Bye.